Hi guys, Chris here from Think Tank. I'm talking to you today about the 5 love languages and your team's happiness. So this comes from Gary Chapman, author of the 5 love languages, and it can easily be applied in your business in terms of how you can meet the individual needs of each of your team members so that they can build really great relationships with your clients and represent your brand in the best possible way because they feel personally connected with you, because you're talking their language in terms of their basic human needs. So there are 5 love languages, as I mentioned. The first is quality time. We'll cover that in a little bit more detail in a minute. Then we've got words of affirmation, gift giving, acts of service and physical touch. So you might be wondering how each of these relate to the business context and meeting the needs of your clients. Well, let's go into that in a little bit of detail. So quality time. People on your team who really value quality time will really respond well to you sitting down and touching base with them on a regular basis. And it can be for 5 minutes, it can be for as much as 20 minutes. And what I'd like to do is a video for you in future on how you can actually have effective one-to-ones to meet the needs of people who really respond well to quality time. So on a day-to-day basis, what will be really valuable for you to do is to just really be focused and present on listening to your team member who does respond well to quality time. Now, you'll be able to identify these people really easily because they'll seek you out to have conversations with you rather than sending you an email or a text message or leaving you a note, for instance. So quality time is really about making sure that you ask lots of questions of the person in front of you and ask them what they need from you. So ask them about their challenges in terms of the service or the product that they're delivering to your clients and what they want from you in terms of support. It sounds high maintenance, but it's really not. As I mentioned a minute ago, it's really as little as 5 minutes a day or 5 minutes per shift, or as long as you feel is valuable for that person so that they know that you're investing time in them, you're interested in them, and you're getting to know them on a one-to-one basis. The next love language, words of affirmation. So these people will be easily identifiable in terms of what they say to other people. So these people tend to celebrate other people's wins as well. So you'll notice they're the cheerleader for the rest of the team, maybe for you, or the cheerleader for your business even. So it's really important for you to identify and catch those moments when they're really doing well, when they're connecting well with clients, when they're representing your brand really well, when they're doing and saying all the right things that really tick the boxes for you as a business owner. So it's about positive feedback effectively. And again, in future, I will do another video on positive feedback and also constructive feedback for you. Words of affirmation, just bring out what it is that they're doing well, that makes your clients happy and that represents your business in a really positive way. The next one is gift giving. Now you might think to yourself, as an employer, I don't want to be giving gifts to my employees. Well, that's okay. It can be really tiny things. It can be, a coloured pen set if that's what they value. If they are a visual person and they love to write in colour, then give them that. It can be a flower that you pick from the garden. It can be anything big or small. You can also build this into reward and recognition programs, and we can also talk about that in future. And you can really tap into what it is that's unique and specific about that person that they value. It can be a voucher for a book. It can be a book itself. It can be something that they might use day to day that reminds them of how valuable they are to you as a team member and also to your clients. If you get some positive feedback from a client, what you can do for these people who respond well to gift giving is write it down for them and give it to them, or print off the email if it comes in via email from a client and actually give it to them. That too can be a really great way for you to actually physically give something to someone to recognise their efforts. The other one is acts of service, and this is really small but really easy to please people with. So people who respond well to acts of service are also going to offer to do things for other people, and they may be small things like giving them a lift to work or giving them a lift to the station after work, or it can be things like grabbing them a coffee when they're out. So the easiest way for you to meet their need and keep them happy and continue to build a great culture with people who respond well to this love language is to do the same thing in return for them. Now, you might be asking at this point, well, how do I get around the whole concept of favoritism? If somebody notices that you're doing something for someone or you're saying things to somebody that you don't necessarily replicate for them, well, the answer is quite simple. We all have different love languages. Some of them might cross over, but effectively identifying the top 2 love languages for each person is going to be really valuable for you in terms of building that culture within your team. And because everybody may have different love languages, it won't matter to one person that you're giving very small gifts to one member of your team and not to them, because they may actually respond better to acts of service or words of affirmation, for instance. So on to the very final love language, and that's physical touch. You might think this is totally inappropriate for the workplace, and I would say that typically, yes, it is. But think creatively about the sorts of things that you can actually do for people that would relate to physical touch. So for instance, you might decide to get in 3-minute massage angels that stand behind people's chair and just give them a massage once a month or once a quarter. You might like to give out a massage voucher if you've got a reward and recognition program that allows you to build something like that into it. These people also tend to be very tactile and kinesthetic people, so movement is important to them, and things that they can feel and touch of different textures are also important to them. So you might like to provide some bean bags or soft furnishings for them to sit in when they're actually working, if it's appropriate in your business environment. But think creatively about how these people can get exposed to different textures and different things to feel and touch. That's how you're going to respond best to someone who has the love language of physical touch. So that's all I have for you in terms of the 5 love languages and your team's happiness and building a great team culture. Get hold of the download, post in the Facebook group, and I look forward to sharing more with you next time. Thanks, guys.